Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I am reacting to the very first book YouTube video I ever made. Okay, so I used to, in high school, have a different YouTube channel and it is very cringy, and for some reason I got the odd idea to look through my old videos last night and I realized I have two book videos. So there's going to be a part 2 to this where I talk about the TBR I made in 2016 and whether or not I ever read those books. But today is going to be my reaction to the very first one I posted in 2014. It's very cringy, so it's me going through my 2014 book jar and talking about the books that I read in that year. So let's get into it. Hey, it's Riley, and today, since it's end of the year, I decided that I would go through a list of books I have read in 2014 because I started this jar probably in the middle of the year last year. And these are all the books I read last year, so let's go through them. Okay, so first off, the room. My room was atrocious. The green and the blue walls, the poster I made of all the bands I liked glued onto a board. Also, my little tiny bookshelf I had, on top of the fact that if you look in the background, I have The Fault in Our Stars on a book stand. And I have a John Green quote hanging on my wall. So there's that. Also, I look awful. But let's continue. I'm not really going to go into any particular order because simply I just drew out my green slips of cards that have the ones written on them, and then I'll show you the book and kind of tell you what I thought about the book. So yeah. It's by Veronica Ross. Okay, the sound effect. And of course, it's 4 because I was obsessed with Divergent at that time. So obviously, I was going to include this book. This is 4's point of view of Divergent, and before that, and I actually really like this because it made me think of Tobias 4 in a completely different way than I thought when I first read the book, and I liked it. It's the ums for me. And the description of, I looked at Tobias 4 in a whole nother way. Okay. But let's continue. The Lost Hero looks like, and this is the first one, and when I started this book, I knew that it was not Percy Jackson, and it starts out in it, and I was thinking, this is going to be really bad because it doesn't have Percy in it, and then they said his name, and I was like, holy crap, this is going to be good, because he's going to be in it. This is the Son of Neptune, which is mostly about Percy because, aka Son of Neptune, Poseidon, kind of same thing except for he's on the Roman side. It's really good because the thing I like with the series is got Greek and Roman, and you kind of go into a whole two-camp kind of deal, and it's kind of cool. This really bothers me, but my Mark of Athena is hard copy while my other two are paperbacks, and that really bothers me because they're not all the same height, and so is my House of Hades. So yeah, but this book, actually the ending of it was actually really interesting. I'm not going to tell you, but it's like cliffhanger, literally. I get it for you, I've read it. Okay, first off, I didn't finish reading these books until this year, so that was kind of a throwback for me. But the joke I threw in there, I thought it was so funny. And that is like the most cringy, like I'm trying to like explain that I like these books, but I can't tell you why I like them, so I'm just like, yeah, I like them, like they're good. That's embarrassing. It's by Ransom Riggs. This is, I have, of course, the paperback copy of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I actually read this book and I was like, dang, this is cool, and it's got like really weird pictures, like, dang, this is cool. Like, look, it's got pictures in it. Anyways, I really liked this book, hard copy, but at least they're like kind of the same height. But the second book, did I just pretend to shoot myself because one was paperback and the other was hardcover? Wow, what was wrong with me? I mean, it was 2014, but what was wrong with, okay. It's kind of a love story kind of deal, and it shows you more about different kinds of like the outside of just their, like time, place, thing. It's really good, and there's supposed to be a third one coming out, so I'll read that when I get that.
I did indeed read the third one, but nothing after that. Also, by the way, I'm watching this on my phone, so that's why I'm looking down. Let's continue.
This is the first one and this is the second one, and I highly recommend these books because look, they're both hardback. But
I like how I didn't say this is the fifth wave, and I just said this is the first one and this is the second one. Okay.
I read them. I read these books recently, actually. I'm not really an alien person, but it was actually really, really interesting. And it was more like, I don't know, it was just really good. And there's a love story in it. And both times, the first book, okay, I recommend if you're going to read it, go ahead and buy the second book because the first book ends awful. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, like, what the heck? And I had to wait like 2 days to get the second book, and it was torture because the ending is like crazy. But it's really, really good. Highly recommend it.
I have no words. I like how I keep emphasizing, oh, there's kind of romance in this. These were the days when I, like, for this book, I wanted the second one so bad. I waited and my mom went and picked it up for me, like, and I, like, sent her a picture of it and was like, go to Barnes & Noble after work and get this and bring it home so that I could read it. Those were great times, but also so cringy.
This is really late, but I have never read these books. I'm in the middle of the second one right now, but like I'm in the middle of 5 books, so whatever. Actually,
relatable. In the middle of 5 books. I'm actually not in the middle of 5 books right now, but I have multiple books that I have started and did not finish, but still plan to finish. I used to like start books and then never finish them, and I guess I still do that.
I've seen all the movies, and I just didn't. When I was a kid, when this was popular, I wasn't into reading, and they were too big for me to read. So now I'm reading them, and
it hurts me to say when I was a kid in this video, because me watching this now, I'm like, I was a kid then. Okay.
I'm pleasantly happy with them.
I am pleasantly happy with them. I did finally finish Harry Potter last year. It's been years in the making, but I finally finished all the books last year.
And so I have read this, I started this book freshman year. I'm now halfway through my junior year, and I just finished it. It took me like 2 years on the last like 2 chapters.
When I watched this video, I have no concept of time. So yes, it says 2014, but like how old was I in 2014? Didn't know. Until me from the past said that I was halfway through my junior year. I looked like this and talked like this, and I was a junior in high school. Yeah, that's embarrassing. No wonder I had no friends. I mean, I have friends, but like, I understand.
I finally finished it, and I went and bought the 2 Towers, but I haven't started the 2 Towers yet because I just haven't. Because I read The Hobbit. The Hobbit was good.
Still haven't finished or started the 2 Towers.
This book is actually very fast-paced if you like dystopian society kind of deals. I like it.
Okay, in 2014, who did not like dystopian? That was like all there was in 2014, so okay.
Esther Earl's, this is Esther Earl's, I never finished, well I kind of finished it, but I got to the part where it's her narratives. It's actually really sad, and yes, there's a grade where I got 10 out of 10, yay, whatever that is. Okay, cool. This is Esther Earl with William.
I got a 10 out of 10, guys, because I was smart. Oh my lord.
Wayne Earl, it's got her writings and her parents writing about her, and it's her journal, and then it's got an introduction by John Green. It's fairly thick. It's kind of sad, but the way she looks at life, I thought it was very creative and all.
Okay, first off, this is when I was obsessed with John Green, The Fault in Our Stars, and granted, yes, John Green is kind of cringy now looking back, but I was obsessed with The Fault in Our Stars because her like cancer started in her thyroid and then spread to her lungs, and they thought I had thyroid cancer when I was really young, so like I was attached. Like they said that, and I attached my everything to that book. So like I was obsessed with The Fault in Our Stars, if you didn't notice from the me talking about the decor in my room in the beginning of this. So this book I picked up because it was the girl that kind of inspired him to write The Fault in Our Stars, and that's purely the reason I started it. I don't think I actually ever finished this. I think there's still a bookmark in it, like there was then in 2014.
It's by Ned, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm not going to try to botch it, but it looks like this. It's got face mask.
Once again, I don't say the title of the book.
Maps, which is kind of the guy in the stories. Craig's whole deal, like he likes doing face map things. But I didn't pick this up until I had seen it a lot and I really wanted to read it. I heard it was good. And then
the way I pause because I literally don't even know how to tell you what a book is about. I feel like I still do that though.
Whenever I heard about how the author died from depression or whatever, I was like, oh, I really should read this book. And they had like a section for him, so I started it. And this book I would highly recommend. It's very
That's all I have to say about what every word that just came out of my mouth.
It just shows him go through depression and kind of rise out of it almost. Not where he's out of it, but he learns how to cope with it, and it's just really interesting because there's a little bit of a love story in that too.
I will say I do still recommend this book. I did really enjoy that book, and I think it was one of the first books I ever read that had to do with mental health. So I'm really glad that I did read it, and I definitely would still recommend it.
Okay, I had to read this for school, and I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be so dumb because I don't really like real, like, non-fiction stuff. He really liked it in the end.
Girl, set still. I still don't really like nonfiction. I think I've read one nonfiction in the past couple years, and it was Crying in H. Martin. I did really enjoy that, but I do not read nonfiction. And I majored in social studies education. So I like history, and this is a historical book, and yet I don't read historical nonfiction. And you would think I would like that, but it's not. I like escapism.
And it's about him being in a Japanese war camp. It's really cool.
It's the way that I couldn't even like figure out how to say it was about him being a prisoner of war. And that I said it was really cool. Also, I 100% lied in this video. I don't think I finished this book. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't finish it. But I watched the movie. Like, I truly don't think I ever actually fully read the book. Like, we read it for school. And we talked about it. So I just said, yeah, I read it. And I don't think I actually did. If I'm being honest now.
I have 2 copies of this book because I was in Target and they have a signed copy.
Okay, first off, this book is kind of problematic, but I was obsessed with it then, so just bear with me. I think that I still have my copy of this, even though I got rid of all my other Rainbow Rowell books. But there's something, like, I loved it so much then, for sentimental reasons I didn't want to get rid of it, but I would never read it. But back to past me, what I have to say about this book.
So I had to get it, but this is what it looks like. This book, I read it on the way to the airport to pick up my German exchange partner, bawling. And I was thinking, okay, cool, my makeup's all in, but it was, the end of it's really, like, made me cry, but then it made me happy. And
the way that I was worried about my makeup being ruined. And here I am today, I don't wear makeup. Ever. Literally ever. And the makeup I have on in this video is horrendous, so why was I worried?
Really, really, really good book, and I know a lot of people say
it's a really, really, really good book. That is so cringy. That is so cringy. Also, it's the way I talk in these videos. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That's so bad.
They can't read this book because the people in the book are unattractive. Guys, this is real life here. Like, we're not.
It's not real life. Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
Just making up some fantasy characters that are perfect or whatever. No, this is like actually like realistic for once. You know, you feel me? I really liked it. I really recommend it.
Okay.
This book is giant. Read this in 2 days. It's like 725 pages.
I don't even think I read it in 2 days. I distinctly remember reading it, and like, maybe it was Clockwork Princess I read it in one sitting, but I was obsessed with the Mortal Instruments. I was obsessed. Obsessed. Like, this is another one I made my mom go buy it. And because I had to wait for her to get it, I found someone on Instagram who DM'd me a PDF copy of it. And I was reading it on that before my mom came home with the physical book. Yeah, I was obsessed.
The day it came out, I had to wait to get it. I couldn't drive yet, and so I was like, Mom, you have to take me to go get this. So I had, where someone had posted a link to it for ebooks, I started reading it then, and I was already halfway through before I got the actual book. Cried my little eyes out, and it's really not as bad. So I suggest reading this whole series and the Infernal Devices. And I'm in the middle of the Bane Chronicles right now.
Spoiler alert, I never finished the Bane Chronicles.
So yeah. Thanks for watching.
It's the way that it abruptly ends with a "so yeah, thanks for watching," and then it just cuts off. Okay, so that was the books I read in 2014 and the very first book video ever uploaded. Most of the videos that are on that channel are all privated, like this is a privated video, and they're all very cringy. So I just thought that I would show you the cringe. If you want to see the part 2, it will be up as well, because I did like a TBR to be finished list in 2016, and when I watched that video I was like, wow, I could talk about this. So I'm going to react to that video as well and tell you what books I did not finish and if I finished them, and like how I feel about them now, because 2016, that was a long time ago still. So and that was my senior year of high school. I may have already graduated at that point, but anyways, if you're interested in that video will be up as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.